My name is Courtney, and I write stories. Stories inspired by real moments, real emotions, and the quiet truths we often overlook. I believe life itself is the greatest storyteller, and through fiction, I bring those experiences to light. Let's get into my first story, Emma May's Possessions. It's a story rooted in lived moments where love, loss, and ownership intertwine in ways that aren't always visible on the surface. Through Emma May, I explore what it really means to belong, to protect what's yours, and to navigate the emotional weight of the things and people we hold close. This is where her story begins. Emma May wasn't exactly sure what her Aunt Sissy has just explained to her, but judging by the look on her face and everyone else's in the room, it was bad. And it had something to do with her mother. Suddenly, her oldest sister, Geraldine, came running toward her, tears streaming down both cheeks, and Emma May was pulled into a tight, desperate hug. She could feel the sharp thuds of her sister's tears hitting her shoulders. Suddenly, Emma went limp. It felt as if the very breath had been drained from her body. Her hearing had betrayed her, delivering a sinister, devastating message. Her mother dead? No, that couldn't be true. She had waited all day, all week just to see her mother. And now she was hearing that she was gone. Then, finally, her sister's words began to register in her ears. Mama is dead. Mama is dead, she sobbed, her voice cracking with hysteria. She struggled to regain the feeling of her arms and legs. She pushed away from Geraldine's clutches and retreated to her room, throwing her body onto the bed, curling up into a fetal position. Only tears, no sound, no loud emotional outburst. From that moment on, Emma had learned how to disappear while standing in plain sight. Days later, the house was crowded with voices, footsteps, casseroles wrapped in foil, and adults whispering in corners. So focused on their own emotions and gossip, no one had noticed how quiet she had become. She stopped asking questions, stopped crying where anyone could hear her. She learned quickly that grief, when it lingered too long, made adults uncomfortable. She spoke only when spoken to, and even then, barely above a whisper. Aretha was the first to go. She was older. She had a different father, with his own house in Maryland, a wife, a great support system. Decisions were made in hushed tones. Emma May nor Geraldine were invited to be involved in. One day Aretha was there, holding it together for her and Geraldine. The next, her bags were packed. Of course, there were promises, phone calls, visits. But to Emma May, it felt like abandonment wearing the mask of necessity. The day Aretha left, she watched her leave. She understood, in the quiet way children do, that grief didn't keep families together. It scattered them. Emma and Geraldine were sent to live with their father and his mother, a woman worn thin by life and ill-equipped to tend to two grieving children. Their grandmother's love was rigid, practical, measured in rules and heavy discipline rather than comfort. There were expectations, clean rooms, quiet mouths, respect for adults. Crime was tolerated, but only briefly. After that, it was seen as weakness, or worse, disobedience. No one took the time to explain death to Emma May. No one asked what she missed most about her life before her mother's sudden death. No one sat beside her when the nights grew heavy. Never did they notice. So, she learned not to ask, not to need, not to feel, at least not where any could see. By the time Emma May was old enough to understand what had happened, the damage had already been done. She had lost her mother. She had lost her sister. She had lost the dynamic of the family she knew. And in the process, she had lost her voice. Silence became her language, distance her shield, and grief, the kind that never quite leaves, became something she carried alone. I hope you've enjoyed this introduction. Of course, there will be more to come in Emma May's Possessions. How will she navigate through life? Will the sudden death of her mother and the immediate separation from her sister shape her in ways her emotions may never recover from? Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.